Like my soul was done, but I have to breathe. I have to be strong because I have to take care of my kids.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Assyrian podcast, episode 13. My name is Odessa, and I had the opportunity to sit down and connect with May Ishak, the wife of the Assyrian martyr Youbert Benyamin. Born in 1950, she received her bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Basra and worked for a petroleum company for many years. She and her husband were involved in the early stages of the Assyrian Democratic Movement, which was established to satisfy the political objectives of the Assyrian people in Iraq. On February 3, 1985, her life forever changed, and we'll get to hear about just how many obstacles she had to endure while in Iraq and eventually later in Canada. For many, this will be the first time hearing the story, and this, my friends, is an unbelievable story about courage, resilience, faith, and the kind of grit and perseverance Assyrians have had to demonstrate throughout the years. On another note, if you'll be attending the Assyrian National Policy Conference in Washington, D.C. this week, be sure to be on the lookout for the Assyrian podcast. Steve will be there and would love to connect with you, so make sure that you stop by and say hello and let him know that you are one of our regular listeners. Now, before we get into the episode, we're asking you to spread the word about this podcast, and we want you to tell at least 3 of your friends about this podcast. Show them how they can listen to us, whether on Google Play, iTunes, or Podbean. We have so many listeners from all over the world, and we don't want this to be the best kept secret. To be notified each time a new episode is released, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Finally, I'd like to give a shout out and thank you to our sponsor, John O'Shaughnessy from HomeSmart. Whether you're thinking about purchasing or selling your home in Arizona or California, contact John O'Shaughnessy Real Estate Professional at 209-968-9519, on Facebook at John O'Shaughnessy Realtor, or at john.o'shaughnessy on Instagram. Without further ado, here is the story of May Ishak. Us a little bit about where you were born in Iraq and where you grew up.
Okay, I born in Nineveh. I lived there for 5 years. Then I moved to south of Iraq in Basra, and I grew up there. Then got married in Baghdad and moved to Kirkuk.
Okay. And in each of those cities, could you paint a picture a little bit about what Assyrian life was like there? Were there a lot of Assyrians that, in Nineveh, I could imagine, were there a lot of Assyrians in Basra growing up?
Oh yeah, there were, we were a lot, like thousands of Assyrian. We had church, club, we used to gather youth together, go picnic, parties.
So you had everything. You had the essentials of what an Assyrian would need in order to have a good community.
It was really good. It was like that till the Ba'ath Party came and start limited our activities. They interfere in everything. Even the interfere was from our people, which they were Ba'athis with the party, and they come through us just to limit the activities.
And talk to us a little bit about what, because many listeners may not know about the Ba'ath regime and like the government at that time. So could you talk about what year are we talking, and when did you start to see a change really in the activities of everyday life?
It started in 70s, let's say 1975, probably, yeah, because I was in university in that time, and they start forcing us to involve in Ba'ath Party, and who doesn't, they really like bother him, attacked. Like myself, I wasn't, and I said I never, because it is Arab parties, like Ba'ath Arab. So I'm not an Arab, I'm an Assyrian. Mm-hmm. And the thing they did, they forced one of our professors to fail me in the best subject I was in.
To fail you in it, okay.
And fail me that, because I didn't involve in Ba'ath Party.
I see, okay.
Yeah. And they limit our, we were like a group, Assyrian, to go to cafeteria, sit, and they didn't allow us to do it in public. We have to hide or contact each other secretly. So they start from there. Even they force us to fill a form saying we are Arab. So,
And what was the purpose, would you say, of the Ba'ath regime? Like, what were they trying to accomplish during that time?
they wanted to control everything. So, and everybody has to be Arab.
So they wanted to really Arabize the people of Iraq.
Yeah, and they start to even force us to study Quran.
Whereas before, you were never forced to do that.
No, before, like Christian, we don't attend Muslims' lessons. But later, they force it. Like, we have to attend.
And so during time of the Ba'ath regime, was it anything that was anti-Assyrian or anything that was anti-Ba'ath? Anything that was maybe Arab that they wouldn't allow?
Yes, anything contain Arab.
And so that would obviously include being Assyrian. But did
Assyrian.
they allow you to practice your faith during?
Yeah, the faith, yes. Churches were okay.
So religion wasn't really affected. It was
In
more
that
so
time,
just
no.
ethnic
Just
identity.
ethnic identity, yes. Church, religion, no, it wasn't, because we used to go to church to learn Assyrian. So churches were okay.
Yeah. How long were you in Nineveh for, and Basra for, and then Baghdad? And where you traveled quite a bit within Iraq
All
itself.
Iraq, yeah. I was in Nineveh till 5 years then, because my mom was a teacher in Basra. So I stayed with my grandma. Then 5 years, my mom came and I moved to Basra to register at school. So I stayed in Basra till I got married.
What's a memory that you can think of growing up, like a special memory
In Basra?
that you have, just as your childhood?
Oh, it really was, the life was so simple, and people, they loved each other. Honestly, we didn't know like this is Muslim or this is Christian or this is Arab, this is Kurdish. We never know that. Like, we were neighbor, we loved each other, we slept at each other, like sleeping over, eating. There wasn't such a thing. Like, we didn't realize there is difference between people. Like, all we are people, we live together, we love each other. It was such a simple life.
And everybody mixed well with each other.
Everybody.
When did you start to notice? Was it that the government was starting to separate people, and that's when you began to notice that there is these differences between the people that you had grown up with?
Yeah, that started with Ba'ath regime, starting to make difference between people. Who's not Ba'athi, who's Ba'athi, who's Christian, who's Muslim, who's speaking another language. We weren't allowed to speak Assyrian in jobs, in schools, and especially if you are at work and you are answering the phone, you are not allowed to speak in Assyrian. You have to speak in Arabic.
In Arabic. Wow.
Yeah. So there, people start to realize this is Christian, this is Muslim, this is Assyrian, this is Arab.
And during that time, you had mentioned that you had gone to university. Was it common for women to go to university during that time?
Yeah.
Oh, it was, okay.
Like my mom, she went to university
Really? Okay.
in Iraq. Like, this is in 30, yeah.
So there was no differentiation between you're a man, you're a woman,
no.
women do this, men do this.
No.
It was a free for all.
All. Like, most of my friends, they were like men, boys at university. There was no.
That's amazing.
It
What
was.
was university life like there?
Almost like here. Like, we were together, we go picnic together, we have parties together, we sit together.
And during the university time, is that when you had met your husband?
No, that was at work. He was from Baghdad. So
And where were you going to university?
Basra.
Oh, in Basra, okay.
Yeah, and he went in Baghdad university. Yeah.
And after you were done with university, is that when you had moved to Baghdad?
No, I worked in Basra in petroleum company. There I met my husband.
Talk to me a little bit about that. How you two met, and what was love like in Iraq? Because the way that we see love in the West, I think, is a little bit different there.
It is different. Yeah, it is different. It's the culture, it's the society.
Like, were you able to be out in public with each other?
Yes, like, especially for us, Assyrian Christian, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but the funny thing, we met and the language was our connection.
Ah, okay.
Like, different, like, no, he talked to me in Arabic, but when I wrote his name is Youbert Benyamin, I knew it, he's an Assyrian. So he spoke to me in Arabic, I answered in Assyrian, and he came again in Arabic, and also I answered in Assyrian. Then I said, oh, no, this is not my type person.
Because you're hoping he'd respond back in Assyrian?
Yeah, because he's an Assyrian, right? I said, okay, probably he's, proud of himself. He said, no, I didn't know. So I said, okay, because I used to help Assyrian, doesn't matter what. Boy, girl, as soon as I see the name and I know the person is an Assyrian, that's it. I'll do whatever I can for the person. So one of my colleagues, he said, oh, he's from your society, he's Assyrian, that's why you are taking care of him? He's a good-looking guy. I said, what? I said, no, because he's Assyrian, yes, but otherwise I don't care. And at that time, he wondered how I'm answering him in Assyrian. So he went and asked, who's this girl? Who's this lady? So here we start with our language.
So you'd met at work and you found out that he was Assyrian through his name.
Yes. And then I asked, because Yonadam Kenna, I didn't know he's his friend,
okay.
But he was my friend. So he called me and he said, May, there's a guy, his name is Youbert Benyamin, take care of him. I said, what? I'm not taking care of him. Let him take care of
himself.
He said, no, May, what I'm telling you. Then I said, if Yonadam is saying take care of, that means he is in this group, I said, okay, sure, I will. But my brother, he didn't mention anything, which he knows him, but he didn't say anything. But Yonadam told me, I said, okay, anything he needs, let him contact me. I am here to help him. So it was a good contact.
And what were you doing at the company?
I was working in payroll department, and my job was to prepare payroll through computer. In that time we started using computer, and I was special to do the allowances for engineers and professors, which they used to work in company. So he was one of them.
And was it common for many Assyrians to work in those companies as well? Or okay.
Yeah, there were a lot of engineers, geologists working in office, accounting. Many Assyrian, especially in petroleum company. A lot of Assyrians, they were working there. Yeah.
Did they have high positions?
Yes.
They did.
They did. In that time. Now, I don't think so.
A lot has changed since then, I'm sure. So you had initially met Youbert at the company. And what happened after that? Once you started to have an interest in each other, how did it work back then? Did you date for a little bit?
He started very officially. He came and visited my family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From an early stage?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we used to meet at work. And couple times, 3-4 times, we went out. And then he came to meet my family. And because his family left Iraq to Greece,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they left. Only his dad was there. So the dad said, we have to do officially before I leave, because the war started in 1980 between Iraq and Iran. So before his dad left, they came and asked for my hand, and that was in August. And we got married in December.
And because you were working in Basra, you were living in there for quite a bit?
No, we didn't live. After we got married, he got transferred to Kirkuk. He asked for transfer because he wanted to be in North. So we transferred to Kirkuk. And since then, we lived in Kirkuk.
What had happened during the time that you were both together in Kirkuk, and what was life like under the Ba'ath regime during that time?
Oh, it was really hard, and honestly, always I myself lived in fear, because I know we were involved in Assyrian Democratic Movement, and Youbert used to go a lot to north of Iraq to contact the people. In 1982 or 83, the group of guys, they moved to north in mountain, and they revolution against honestly, it was only asking for our rights. The thing they were asking for Iraq, Democrat Iraq, our rights, why you are destroying our old churches, villages, those stuff. So Youbert used to go a lot we went to north, to mountain. He wanted to meet those.
Like, were they soldiers?
Yeah, like they were, like two of them.
And when you say in the mountains, like people were going there to protect land that we had there, or
yes, to protect the people there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, a year before, beginning of 84, in February, two of them being killed in Simele because they were protecting. There were a group of young men. They ran away from army because Saddam was sending everybody to the war with Iran. So this group, they ran away to go like out of Iraq or be in mountain. And those two, they heard that the government, they sent army to surround the Simele, the village. So they went there to release those, to ask them to leave and run away because the government, the army are coming to kill them. While they are defending those, they've been killed. Yeah, Jamil and Sheba.
And those were two of the soldiers that were trying to protect.
Yeah, the villages and our people. So they've been killed, and they killed them. Then they tied them to a car and they drove the streets in The Hague. Show everybody that what will happen to you.
Wow.
Yes.
Was that common to do back then?
Oh,
to display?
Yeah, they used to hang people in public to show people, like, if you are against Ba'ath, if you are against the government, you'll be
This
hanged.
is what will happen to you.
Yeah.
And that's humiliating also.
Oh, yeah,
in a way.
it was humiliated, yeah. And Jamil was our good man in our wedding. One of them, Jamil, yeah.
So you had a personal connection to him.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Sahda Youbert at that time had gone there, and did he go there after this had happened, the killing of the two
No,
men?
and that day, like, he came and he was so mad and nervous, and I didn't know what happened till he said, like, this happened, and it was really, like, it affected a lot, like, two of our good guys. So it was time which I was really always in fear till the day they captured him in with Zawaz newspaper, Bahra. They continue like going and taking things to those guys up north. And that time, all of us, we went to north because they wanted to meet those. And we were up there, not us, even Sahda Yosef, like a group of, we were there. Then we had to take Bahra down to Kirkuk, Baghdad. So we took Bahra to Kirkuk, Youbert and myself. Then Youbert took Bahra and went to Baghdad to give it to people.
So the way that they transported the news was
by
through travel.
And
handing it out.
Handing it out to. So
what was in the Bahra? What kind of news was it?
It was just educational, most of it, about our culture, about what's happening.
Otherwise, did people know? Because at that time, were people... how did people know of the news that was happening? Was it really only through Bahra?
Through Bahra,
okay.
Yes. But Bahra was very prohibited. Like, it was really they have to give it to certain people which they trust. And one of them, he asked Youbert, like, he want to involve, and he was deacon in our church, which Youbert trust him. So he asked Youbert to have Bahra. So they point a place to go and meet to give him Bahra. So Youbert went to give him the newspaper, but he was involved with Ba'ath party.
The guy that he had met with him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
so he had plotted that.
Yeah. And when Youbert wanted to give him Bahra, the undercover, let's say, agency, Saddam agency, they were there. So they captured Youbert with Bahra in his pocket. And that was the proof, like, for them. They wanted something to prove, like, those people, they have a group. And
that was it.
Yeah.
They captured him, and what happened?
They captured him, and there was agreement. Within 3 days, he never announced any name. So
and who's he?
Youbert. So
they wanted him to admit if anybody was involved, and he wouldn't.
He wouldn't, because this was the agreement. Like, within 3 days, So the other, when they heard one of them would be captured, they run, like they go to north. But some of them they didn't, so they start capturing. Like they captured Youbert in July 14, and they start capture the other in July 17. So they took like his brother, my brother, a lot of our youth, like men, all educated.
Who is giving the names to the people to then have them captured, the other ones, like your brother and whoever?
Like if Youbert give, because how was it? Like me, Youbert, I know only you.
Yeah.
You know only this.
Yeah.
So in that chain,
see.
yeah.
And so they had captured him and he was imprisoned. Mm-hmm. What happened after that?
They captured him without any trial, without any, no judge, no.
He couldn't go and defend himself and to anybody.
No defense, no lawyer, no.
And there was no such a thing then?
No. Especially like something against Ba'ath regime, of course, there's no defense, no nothing. So 3 of them, they put them for execution, and the other they were in prison for life. But later, because it was the war between Iraq and Iran, after 2 years, they let them go because they have to involve in army. So definitely some of them been killed, or some of them they managed to run, and 3 Youbert, Joseph, Yohanna been executed.
During this time, what news was being relayed to you? Did you know what was happening throughout the process? What was told to you?
I know Youbert went to Baghdad to take Bahra and give it to people. One of his friends, he saw the undercover catch him and put him in the car, so he went to my brother-in-law and said to her, to his wife, that Youbert been captured. So she called me and she said, I want to tell you, like, Youbert is, like, we can't say anything through the phone because all the phones, they were
being tapped in.
So she said, oh, they took Youbert to hospital. So I said, oh God, is there medication with him? She said yes. So I understood, like, that's it, he's gone. So I went to Baghdad. We used to live in Kirkuk. I went to Baghdad and we start asking, and in 17 they came to take his brother. At night time they came, they asked for his wife, and I said, like, I am Youbert's wife, can I come too? So we went and they questioned her and they asked me, do you want to see Youbert? I said, yeah, I do.
And at that moment, did you know what had happened? Or
yeah,
okay.
I knew it, like I knew it, this is it, like it. So I went to see Youbert, and the head of those, like the secret agency, he said, oh, how did you know he is here? I said, oh, I didn't. I thought like it being captured to send to a war, like, you know. Oh, okay, like if people ask you, say that, don't say like it being captured by the government. I said, okay, but I knew it, that's it.
And you saw him?
I did. But I said, don't worry, like, because I was pregnant and Panipal, he was 1 year old. I said, don't worry about us, we'll be okay. And that's it.
And that was the last time that you saw him?
That was the last time I saw him.
And how old were you at this time?
I was 32.
So at 32 years old, with one child and one on the way?
Yeah.
And this had happened?
This happened, yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about what you were feeling at that time. What was going on in your mind?
That's it. I was done, like, that's it. I thought, I'm not alive. Only the thing, like my soul was done, but I have to breathe, I have to be strong, because I have one 1 year and the other one in his way. I have to take care of those. I have to take care of my kids. I have to be strong, even though they put hand, like everything was like, but if we have money in the bank, everything furniture they put hand on it. Like I end up the house with suitcase of my babies, and that's it.
And who had taken it? The government had come into your house and taken everything out?
Everything.
And this was in Kirkuk?
In Kirkuk. Even the money in the bank, nothing.
So they left you with nothing?
With nothing. Only I was working in an oil company, and I had to fight. For 3 years I was fighting with the government to stay.
With the company?
To stay in the company working, and to get a place to live in, because I didn't have place to live in. I gave birth to Ramin in November, and they've been executed in February. So Ramin was 2 months old, and I end up like in street, actually, like homeless. So I gave Ramin to people to take care of him. So I stayed with the people every day, going somewhere, and people, they were scared to take me in or talk to me, because it was really
because the Ba'ath regime was really, they knew everything about you.
Yeah,
they were watching you, really.
They were watching me. They were watching me at work. They were watching me everywhere, like there was somebody watching me. Always been asked who contact you, who's coming to visit you, nobody. Even like once they asked me, now we know you are from good family, you are a good worker, blah, 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 blah. And now Assyrian people will trust you. They'll start talking about the government, about Saddam. And when you go to church, they'll start being sympathize with you. So
who is saying this?
The under agency, like the government. So we want you to tell us what's happening in church, what's happening with your people. I said, I'm very sorry, I don't go to Assyrian church. And he said to me, aren't you Assyrian? I said, yeah, my nationality, I'm Assyrian, but my faith, I go to Anglican church. I don't go to Assyrian church. So just to save my people from, he said, oh, but I don't think there is Assyrian people going to Anglican church. I said, yeah, there is. Like I named the people, Assyrian people there. So I said, I belong to that church. But when I started going there, my people, they thought like I'm going to Anglican. Oh, look at May, like her husband gave his life to Assyrian. But they didn't know like I'm doing this to save them.
So that's so much to try to be juggling at the same time.
Yeah.
Your husband had just passed. Your youngest son is in the care of others.
Yeah.
You have a younger son.
And
you're trying to protect your own people.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, they're not understanding where you're coming from and the reason why you said Anglican church.
Yeah. And I can't say anything because I can't. I'm scared to say anything. Like I have to do what I have to do.
So you were saying people were hesitant on having you in their house. How did you find refuge somewhere?
I rented place with a Muslim's family, but it was so hard on me, and I stayed there. And I was just fighting for my rights with the company, because before they captured Youbert, we had companies, they had their camp, like houses, as like here, there's government housing. So
the workers would live there?
Would live there. And we had one, but they took it back. So I was fighting to have a place. Then with those, I couldn't handle staying there. So the lady, oh God bless her, she's an angel, who babysit Pani, because I asked her, I said like, you know what, I don't have place to go, and I have to go back to work, and I don't know what to do with Panipal, and I don't know what to do with Panipal. I'll bring him in the morning, I leave him in front of your door. If you take him in, thank you, God bless you. If you don't, I don't know what to do. Thank God and thank him. She is a believer. So she started babysitting Pani for me, and I went back to work. Then I started begging her father-in-law to give me just a small room, a place in her house. And she helped me a lot. Like, she asked her father-in-law, we have to, but the people, they said, oh, don't, like, then the government will be after you. But she
like
said,
other people were telling her,
yeah, don't, like, but she said, no, I'll take May, even if they excuse me, like her husband, I'll take her. And like, she's young with a baby, like, it's shame on us Assyrian to leave her in homeless. So after 1 year, I moved in with her, and she took good care of me and my boys. So I took back Ramen, and we lived with her, and I continue fighting the company to have my own place. Then I got the place, a house, like company house. We lived there for 3 years. So 3 years homeless, 3 years with the house, like with my kids. And in 1990, I came to Canada.
You said enough is enough.
It was enough. Even like I stayed in company, my position got it back, I got the house. But I said, I am okay, but what about my boys? I have 2 boys. Like, I don't think they leave him alone. They don't, because Pani started going to school and always been harassed, like, oh, your father was faithful to this country, and he was young, like he was 6 years old,
which is not something a young kid should have to hear.
Yeah, and he didn't understand what's going on. So I said, no way. My friends at work said, come on, May, now you are settled, you are okay, your kids there. I said, no way. I'll go anywhere in this world. Even I beg and sit in the road and beg people for a piece of bread. I'll feed my boys. I'm not staying here with this regime. No way.
Did you feel betrayed by the country and by your own people at that time?
By the government, yes. By my people, I don't, like, they were, but they were scared of the regime. Not because they don't want me, or no, they were, like, honestly, anytime, like, they see me, they start, like, crying and be faithful, but the government, the regime was so bad.
From the time that they were still in power and before you had left, was there still a threat of security for you and your family? And were they still tapping into phone calls, for example?
Big time.
So like, really, it seems like at no point were you
I was in a prison.
Comfortable.
No, I was in a prison, but open prison. Like, even once I was walking with my boys. Panipal was 4 years, and Raman was, and I took them to a store to buy them stuff. Hani said, Mom, why that guy is following us? Like, wherever we are going, he's coming. I said, oh, don't worry. You know those men, like dirty men, they look at you. And he acted like a big boy, and he started walking with me. Like, even a kid, 4 years, 5 years, he understood, like, and of course, like, my phone was tapped, like the house phone. I knew it. They were listening to my conversation anytime, even at work, at my office, the phone was tapped everywhere. Like,
when you were in your home, were you able to speak? Like, you're in your own home. Were you able to speak on the phone in Assyrian?
Yes.
But did they have people that knew Assyrian?
Oh, yes.
So they could hear and translate.
There was Assyrian with
that were a part of the regime.
Yeah. A lot of Assyrian, they were part of the regime. One of them, the guy who showed Youbert, he was an Assyrian, he was a deacon.
Why do you think what interest would an Assyrian have to join the regime?
Scared, the fear. Secondly, money. Third, for better job. So everything was personal. Nothing to serve the nation or it was personal.
Like for selfish reasons.
Yeah, selfish.
You had left Iraq. What year was that?
1990.
1990. And you came to Canada?
Yes. First I was in Toronto, in Etobicoke.
Did you know anybody here when you had first come?
When I came, like, my sister-in-law, she used to live in Canada. Yeah. I came there, then I moved alone. and worked.
So what was the transition like going from Iraq to Canada? Did you know English at that time?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were able to at least get by and so even with everyday life, so thinking about, again, I'd never been, I don't know what Iraq was like during that time, but going from a place that, like the way that you had pictured it, to a country where you don't see any of that day to day, and you no longer have people that are listening to your phone calls or following you. Talk a little bit about that transition.
Like first when I came as a visitor. So the second day I went to immigration office and I claimed refugee status, and they knew it. The story was here. They know about this because Assyrian Democratic Movement, they send everything to United Nations, MC, so they knew. But the problem was because I had visitor visa, and it was for 6 months. So they said within this 6 months you can't work, you can't go to school. Only your kids, they can go to school, but you can't do anything. So, and I came here in June. Then in August, I wanted to go back, to be honest. Yeah, I wanted to go back because I was alone, even though my sister-in-law, but I wanted to go back. But then in August, the war between Iraq and Kuwait started. So that's it.
So you felt like you couldn't go back. This is it.
That's it. Yeah, I have to think what I have to do, and I have to be more strong, and I have to take care of my kids, and I have to start a new life. Just forget whatever is back home. This is a new life. I have to be involved in this kind of culture and life because my boys now, they'll grow up here and
This is like a new chapter.
Yeah.
I hear that back then in Toronto there was an area where a lot of Assyrians lived.
Yes.
Were you living in that
I
area
live
as well?
in a building. The superintendent was an Assyrian, and there was many families in that building, Assyrian.
Was that comforting to at least know there were other
At
Assyrians?
least there is people I know. And then I applied for government housing as a single mom with 2 boys, and I lived, it was very nice apartment with 2 boys, but the area wasn't safe for my boys to grow up. So I moved to Mississauga. After 4 years, I moved to Mississauga because I wanted better life for my boys. At least they grow up in an area which is safe.
Yeah, which is understandable as a mom. Yeah, you absolutely want that for your kids.
Yeah, so I moved to Mississauga. I started working many jobs because I don't want it to go to welfare. Then because I said, oh my, if I go to depends on government and welfare, and so then my boys, they I have to be
an
example for them. I have to work hard so they know life. You have to work hard. So I started working. I worked many jobs.
And doing so full time?
I did some full time. Then I worked part time with the tax season with H&R. I worked in department store. At that time it called Eaton's. Now it's not exist anymore. I worked in gas station. Then I had my own franchise gas station. I worked interpreter language for Arabic, Assyrian, English. I worked cleaning places.
So really a lot of different jobs.
Yes.
Just to stay afloat and being able to support your family.
To support my family. And I said I don't want my boys to be less than their friends. So I have to provide them with what they need. So I have to work 2 jobs a day, go to my work, then go cleaning, then go interpreting, and go do the tax season thing just to survive. Thank God.
It seems like from your time in Iraq, transitioning to life in Canada, there really wasn't any time where you weren't, I guess for lack of better word, struggling to survive in some fashion.
Yeah.
And being in a country where you don't have a level of support around you, like, did you have your siblings here at all, or
No.
anybody?
No sibling, no.
And as a single mother raising 2 boys,
Mm.
how did you do it?
To be honest with you, sometimes, like I said, how did I do it? How did I work and taking care of the boys and watching them, teaching them, taking them to sports activities. Also, like when I came here, I involved in political. I was the president for Assyrian Democratic Movement here. And then I was president for Assyrian Aid Society. Like I involved in our activities, politics.
You're like a superhero, like a super mom.
I don't know.
Really?
Honestly,
and you've grown and you've raised 2 amazing young men who
Thank God.
have created
I
great
depend on
lives
God
for
a lot.
themselves.
I depend on God a lot. Once my uncle, after what happened to Youbert, he said to me, I never forgot that. And that time it hurt me a lot. But then he said, from now on, you have to depend on God and yourself. And I was so hurt in that time when he said that to me. I said, from this moment, I don't need anybody, only God and myself. Since then, I depend on God. I defend my life to these 2 boys, to raise them, to be good, because they are taking their dad's name, so they have to be good.
And you had mentioned a little bit earlier that when you had come to Canada, you were the president of the Assyrian Democratic Movement at one time. Do you feel like with what had happened in Iraq with Alama Nikhle Saada Youbert, did you feel even more empowered?
I was involved from beginning, like in Iraq, from they start the movement, I was involved in it. So, and with Youbert, like we were together in that struggle, yeah. So myself, like before I met Youbert, I was involved. My nation is my life, my blood. So.
And as we were mentioning, you'd helped to raise 2 amazing young men, Pani and Raman. And with Pani, his first child, you all ended up naming him Youbert.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What was that like for you when you had found out that you were going to be a grandmother, and that did you help to choose the name? Was it a thought process, or was it no thought process at all? Like, this is what his name is going to be.
This is his name. Like, they decided, like, I want it, I love it. But when they decided, it was like something for me. Like, I never felt like, always I feel Youbert is with me. When they said to me, Alama Nakhle, no, for me, he's not dead. Like, he's alive, he's here, he's everywhere, he's with me. Like, always I feel like he's supporting, he's around, his soul probably. Like, and now he's Youbert Surah. Once he came in my bedroom and I have my wedding picture, and he said to me, Nana, you know, this is me. I was old with mustache. Now I came young again. And that thing, like, I don't know how to explain it.
I can give you goosebumps.
It was goosebumps. And I was wondering then, I said, oh God, I don't know. Is it like, do I believe the soul come back again? And is it his soul in you? So, like, I adore Youbert. I adore him. Even they accuse me like I spoiled him.
You're a grandmother.
And first I'm Youbert, secondly grandmother, secondly he's Youbert.
Yeah.
Like, and he said that, I don't know how to explain my feeling, honestly.
Yeah.
In that moment, it was a shock for me. I was just looking at him. And I hugged him and kissed him, and
like Youbert was
3 years old. How he said this, like this thing? Why he said it? Like, why?
Almost like a reincarnation in a smaller form.
Yeah,
but
so I hope this Youbert will be like the old Youbert.
I think so. I think you will.
I'll pray for that. Yeah.
And so you get to say Youbert's name every day, really.
Yeah, Youbert.
It's a beautiful cycle. Now you are a grandmother.
I am a grandmother to 2 beautiful anakhlab.
And the other grandson's name is Benyam.
Yeah.
Benyam.
Benyam.
Is that your main source of joy on a everyday
Yes.
basis?
And
And your responsibility, right? You care after them?
Yes, I do. And the funny thing, like, which made me so happy, like, Benil's middle name is Mary, and my mom's name is Mary. So without telling them, I was surprised when they named him Benil Mary. I said, wow. So because I was attached to my mom a lot. I was attached, like when I lost my mom a year before Youbert.
Wow.
And Youbert support me a lot, like, because he knew it. I was attached to my mom. Even like many times I said, I'm not getting one. I want to stay with my mom. I was attached to her. So I have Youbert and I have Mary.
Atume, for the listeners, what is something that you want them to know, to be mindful of the past and in moving forward? For many listeners who have maybe heard or hearing this story and understanding what Sahada Youbert's life was like in the past, what do you want them to know moving forward, or what piece of advice do you have?
I want them just to keep their language. This is the most important thing. Even at home, speak to your kids in Assyrian. Be attached to your church, your culture. Always remember, like the Sahda, like our martyr, they give their life, their soul to this nation. So this nation, I beg and I pray, it'll stay and grow more. Probably one day, not me, probably you, youth, your kids will go back to where our roots are. Because in Ghaributa, like in here in West or everywhere, we lose ourselves if we don't keep our language, our culture, our belief. So probably one day we'll take it back and stay in our land.